So we are live now. Hi Saurav, welcome to our event and
Event.
welcome to the audience. Welcome everyone, and today we will be discussing about Smart India Hackathon. As our internal hackathon is going, the internal hackathon, the idea submission from college and is the last date is 12th, I think. So we are here to guide you on Smart India Hackathon, and Saurav is a winner of the Smart India Hackathon. And in 2020 he won the hackathon, and he is also working as a solution architect at Microsoft. So so sort of, let's get to the
Yeah.
point. We must be
Sure.
having some freshers also. So let's start with what are hackathons, what is Smart India Hackathon, and what are the importance of hackathons.
Sure, Ben. So that's a great question. And hey, audience, looking forward to have a really insightful conversation today. Thanks for inviting me. Okay, let's first understand what is a hackathon and what is Smart India Hackathon. When I was in my college days and I just entered into my college days, maybe the first or the second year, it was really a very, unknown term for me. I could relate it with hackathons. I mean, what is a hackathon altogether? I couldn't really relate with it. So that's where I kind of related it with marathon. Yeah, we run marathons, and then but how is this hackathon coming into the picture? So that is where the first experience with the hackathon. That's where I just got a gist and this. To make it maybe to cut it down in short, in a layman's term, it's just like a marathon where you have a time frame, and within that time frame you have to rush, you have to code swiftly, and you have to build an maybe an MVP or a solution altogether. It's really cool thing that you can do.
So
And talking
as a
about
first,
smart India hackathon. Mhm.
yeah, please. So
So
I
okay,
would
so
say,
smart.
please continue, please
Yeah.
continue.
No problem, no problem, go ahead, go ahead.
Please continue, let's complete, please complete.
Okay, okay. When we talk about Smart India Hackathon, so it's a program that started around 2019 or 2016. The exact year is something that I have to confirm, but it's a government and the central government organizes it, directly linked to the PMO office in the MHRD. So it's a very I would say the most prestigious hackathon nationwide, with more than a million. Students joining in. That's the level of the hackathon that you can expect. So a prestigious one, and obviously winning it has its own perks. So definitely something that you cannot afford to miss.
So me being a first year student who have just joined college right now, so what is the eligibility criteria? What should I know? What skills I should know? How I am eligible for?
Okay, so I'll tell you like this, maybe my experience as well. So when I was there in my first year when I participated in the Smart India Hackathon, and the preliminary stage was a mandatory stage in my college. I think this is the same for this year as well. So you have to qualify for the preliminary stage, and for me, just entering into the college 1 month or so, it was really very new. Things were very new. I did not knew about Python. I did not
Hmm?
knew about C, Java, where to start. And the most irritating problem was that everyone in my college had formed a team and I was left apart. That's where the struggle started, and that's where my journey started. So, for a first year student, I know, understand it might be a bit challenging that you would tell me that, hey, sort of, I don't have a tech stack, I don't know about languages. How do I start? But the straightforward answer is that as soon as you can start, the better it is for you. So if you don't know anything, just try to maybe brainstorm, ideate. Even that gives a edge to the other people or the other teams who haven't brainstormed at least an idea. Once you have brainstormed, now look upon Chat GPT, look upon Google, YouTube. What are the different options or different ways that you can convert your idea to a full-fledged solution? It could be an MVP. It could be just a demo solution that could work in some sort of a isolated environment. It could be anything. Okay, if you can build an end-to-end product, what better than that? But just to give you a feel, if you have just started off, I mean, it's the best time for you to get started with hackathons, get started with technologies, get started with development altogether. So don't hesitate to get started, and I would love to see you participating in the hackathon.
So how we should choose problem statements? Like there are a lot mentioned on the site. So how to
Okay.
choose and how to brainstorm for that particular problem statement.
Okay, so this is a really good question. And so, how do you choose the problem statement? There are a list of problem statement, more than 150 plus. I'm not sure, but and each problem statement looks really blurry for us. I mean, even if I have read to the problem statement, it looks me that hey, I could work on this, I could have worked on that, I could have worked on that, but maybe few of them which might not look so interesting. But how do I choose one out of the five, or how do I choose one out of the 10 best problem statement that I personally like? Well, it's totally upon your ideas, the way you think, and the space that you want to work upon. Maybe I'll just break it down like this. Now, I have identified few problem statements, maybe five problem statements. How do I choose one among them? First is the feasibility of the item. You have Since you have chosen one of the problem statement, you must have an idea on the back of your mind. Now think about how feasible would it be to implement the same solution for you, not just for you, but your team members. If you have already formed a team, that's one question that you should double think about. If you haven't formed a team, then look forward that what are tech stacks that your team can possess, or what are the tech stacks that you can bring to your team from different people in and around you. So choose a maybe just giving example. There is a problem statement on machine learning, or maybe there's some problem statement on blockchain, but I don't have a people who can support me on blockchain. Is it worth it for me to take forward, even if I'm interested to take up that problem statement? Either I have to learn it up, or I have to bring on somebody who can manage that tech stack. In that scenario, I can go ahead with it. So it totally depends on the different scenarios. There could be one more thing that you should consider while choosing a problem statement. It would be like this, that let's think about a scenario, uh, problem statement for which solutions are already available in the market, or you don't think that there is much to work upon. The thing available, there are solutions available on the market, or people or teams or different teams might be more interested to take up that problem statement because it seems easier. That's a straightforward no for you. Choose something that is unique. Choose something that makes you different from the other team members. Remember, in Smart India Hackathon, or maybe at any hackathon, the amount of applications are humongous. And if you don't stand apart, there's no chance.
Yeah, there is a limit on a particular statement also, how many ideas they can take on a statement.
Yes.
Yeah. So talking about the team, so as a first statement, should I look for starting a team or joining a team? Like
I would say either way. Okay, go ahead, go ahead. Was there a follow-up question? Sorry about that.
I said, I should start, I should make my own team or I should join a team. There are a lot of teams. So I should evaluate their ideas, which one I like and which team I should join, or I should start my own team.
Well, this is a good question, and I would say both of them. How? If you have gone through the list of the problem statements and you have figured out an idea for yourself, if you choose a team to work upon, which is a pre-existing team, and you join a team there, maybe the team is not interested to work on that problem statement, but you are really
Yeah.
passionate that hey, I want to work on this problem statement. That's where you should form a team of yourself. Since you have a tech stack, you have a problem statement, just only thing for you would be to either to wrap up or get started with the solution. If you are someone who has not figured out a problem statement for yourself, or you really don't know how to navigate, the best approach would be to join a team and get started as soon as possible.
And one more question is on a team only, what makes a successful team?
Okay,
What makes a team
that's
a
a
successful team?
okay. So this is a question that has been asked to me multiple times, and I receive this a question each time that I converse about hackathons. So, what is the best fit for a team? Which team should be considered as best, or how do you find your team to be the most efficient team? Well, there are no direct answers to it, but I'll frame it based on my experiences like this. I consider a best team to be diverse. I consider a best team to be agile, a team that thinks divergent but also converges to a particular solution, a team who fights but gets into a common solution over the period of time. Definitely, there would be heated conversations when you are trying to brainstorm, when you're trying to develop a feature. Maybe a particular feature cannot be developed, and then you get started with, "Hey, this cannot be developed," and how do you possess me as a team leader? How do you tell me or force me to implement this? This is something that I cannot do. So and then you finally juggle upon, you break through a lot of things, you go into documentations and finally build that solution for yourself. That's an achievement altogether. Or I mean, that's something that I cherish as a part of the hackathon. The one of the very important thing is that how compatible are you with your team members. There are scenarios wherein I have seen, and this is my personal experiences as well, since I have participated in a lot of diverse hackathons, a lot of diverse teams in different hackathons. So the understanding between team members, the time commitment of individual team members, as well as the contribution of the team members really matters. uh, just imagine a scenario: you are a six people team and five of them are rigorously working hard, but one of them does not even give time. Do you think will you win? You might win, you might not win. But just think of one person not contributing, that creates an immense impact on your entire your product that you are, or the solution that you're building. Maybe a text that got lost or something like that. So it's very crucial when you plan out a team, do it very mindfully.
So, have you faced any conflict in your any of your hackathons, and how did you manage it to be a smoothly running or smoothly ending hackathon?
I would say okay. So, and since this conversation is more on the context of Smart India Hackathon, I would say we had multiple. We had over this period of 6 months, we fighted. We stopped talking to each other. We had a lot of things that we did during this period of time. We found people not contributing at all, and get endorsed in their academics or internships or whatsoever, and not giving it all the time for the development of the project that we are into it. uh, there has been a scenario, and I mean, talking about every hackathon experience, this is a common experience for me. But let me just quote myself how I navigate through this process. Well, as a captain, as a team leader, a very important aspect, more than the tech stack that you possess, more than the work you contribute to, a very important role is managing the entire team, ensuring that each of the team members are engaged, each of the team members are being utilized as a resource to the fullest extent. And when you say utilized to the fullest extent, means each of them are contributing equally and to the most of their capabilities. Um, a very important part of being a team member is also to resolve conflicts. So when there is disinterest, or maybe someone has a conflict of interest, so in that scenario, how do you resolve it? How do you take it forward? It's That's something that I really look forward on a team lead.
Cool. So, my next question is how to brainstorm. Like, is there, suppose we are thinking of innovative solutions to the problem statements, right? So, is there anyone to whom we should ask about our solution, like any mentorship or guidance opportunities, whom we can ask about ideas
Okay, so
that
this is a good question actually. How do you brainstorm? This is a question that I had when I was in my college. So, okay, this is not that straightforward, and let me just put it like this. So, given an idea, how do I get started with it? The first thing is the ideation or the brainstorming phase. Unless and until I have an idea of what a building needs to be constructed, how do I start off with building the ground floor of it? Right? And while building the ground floor of it, I have to ensure that if it's a 120-story building, the ground floor should be as strong, the foundation should be as strong, I mean, enough to support that 120 floors, and so on and so forth. Just a real world example. So, how do you plan and brainstorm? Well, the idea or brainstorm, and there's a concept as well, there's a framework as well, but I'll not go into deeper. But I'll summarize it like this. First of all, take up an idea, take up maybe a set of problem statements. Think in a divergent way. What are the different possibilities that you can think about? What are different ideas? The ideas may be relatable, may not be relatable. Something that is feasible may not be feasible. Just think about the ideas, jot it down per problem statement was. And this is a approach that I am suggesting you even when you kind of create your proposal. So take it forward and try to implement it. So on a document, just try to list down the ideas that you have. That once you have already listed down the possible ideas, now think convergent. When you think about convergent, how do you um, evaluate your ideas to its feasibilities? So when you talk about I mean converting your ideas into a feasible solution, think about what are tech stacks required, whether this is something that you can execute. Is there certain sufficient resources that is available? Whether your guide or a professor is, I mean, is someone who has worked upon this particular tech stack and can guide you forward. These are the different things that you can think about, and only this will help you to brainstorm forward and get to a common idea, right?
Cool. So, like we talked about the feasibility and how much it is possible for that solution to be feasible. So, how much, for the internal hackathon, where we need to qualify the thing, how far the prototype should go, how much we need to make for our solution. Like, did you understand my question?
Sure, sure. I got it. So, okay, for the internal hackathon, you need to be cognizant about that they really don't require an entire end-to-end solution. But if you have an end-to-end solution, that's the best part of it. I mean, there would be some brownie points for you to develop the entire solution for, I mean, in the internal hackathon itself. That brings the confidence that hey, you also have that potential to convert your ideas into an full solution, right? So that's number one. Second thing is that if you suppose if you are in a state, maybe someone has a hardware project and he cannot convert the entire hardware project into a end-to-end solution at once. So how do you build or how do you project your solution as a part of the internal hackathon? So the solution to this is try to build a minimal viable product, or maybe try to build a solution that kind of demos, or maybe a prototype of the solution that's just minimalistic to that can suffice the need, or maybe a particular functionality as a part of the solution, and the rest of the solution could be explained as a part of the presentation. So that's also something that you can participate do. And I've seen people doing this. This gives a fair idea that hey, if a particular functionality has been built, maybe the main functionality has been built, the rest of the solution can be extended forward.
Cool. So, the second part, other than the solution, which matters in the internal hackathon, which I have felt is the presentation. So, how to build a compelling presentation which satisfies our judges, like in the internal hackathon.
Okay, so that's a really tough question, actually. Okay, so when you talk about having a really effective presentation, I would categorize it into maybe three sections. One is the creative presentation, or the creative or visionary, the visualization that you put forward. The second is how do you communicate, and how do you, how do you communicate your idea verbally. First is the visualization, second is the verbal, and the third is answering to the questions. So ideally, I would say each of them have a really important significance, and you should put forward time to build on each, each three of them. When you talk about visualization, so it's majorly on how lucrative do you make your PPT, how well the animations are put it forward. I don't want something that's very animated, while I don't want something that's very textually heavy. Make it
Yeah,
as appropriate as possible to what is required, and that should communicate your idea. Don't overburden your PPT with a lot of animation, and that's something that's not required. While you
yeah.
communicate and while you present, ensure that the entire team is presenting the solution, not just one single person. That adds an extra value that the entire team has worked upon the project and knows about it and can speak about it. That's one. The third thing would be answering the question that comes up. Maybe you can get a question, you might not get a question. Now, how do you take it forward? How do you think about answering a particular question? Well, either there could be two scenarios that you have an answer for it, go forward and put forward your answer. Okay, that could be an idea, that could be maybe a timeline on implementing a functionality, or maybe a feasibility of certain functionality, so on and so forth. uh, the second part would be, if you don't know an answer to a particular question, how do you answer that? Well, I have seen a lot of people and a lot of teams, kind of fumbling up or bluffing in these questions. You're not supposed to do so. When you don't know an answer, just say, "Dear sir, ma'am, I am someone, I'll work upon it. Something that I don't have an answer right now, but definitely I'll look upon and get back to you." If you say something that's not appropriate, or something that does not sound right or appropriate to the question, it might piss off the or jury. So in that case, you would be in a worse situation. So just try to avoid that. If you have an answer, directly go ahead and answer it. If you don't have an answer, just say that this is something that we'll definitely check. If there is a feature, a recommendation, just say that, hey, this is something that we'll implement over the period of time.
Also, one more question on the PPT, that should we practice, like rehearsal is important before presenting. Is that important? And is the feedback from maybe seniors and maybe the other fellows, they can ask questions on it, right? Is that important?
Trust me, it's important. So you cannot. I cannot emphasize more on this. Before you get started, just imagine I have to speak at an event and I'm not prepared for it. I'm just speaking out something that just comes onto the mind, but it does not really make sense to the audience. How bad it would be. So before you go forward and present it, before you speak somewhere, you have to be prepared for sure. Make sure, and since this is a team collaboration wherein an entire set of four people or five people or six people would speak together, you need to have a coordination. You need to have a timestamp when person A should speak, when person B should speak, and so on and so forth. Well, this also brings into light that, hey, there are times when we try to communicate something, but maybe that does not get communicated well to the jury, or there are scenarios wherein the actual idea or the major emphasis on the creativity and the project has not been put forward to the jury members in the right way. Maybe in that scenario, I really advise you that if you have a professor, for sure you will have a guide or professor when you're participating in the internal hackathon or the smart india hackathon. Maybe a professor, maybe a mentor. So in that scenario, you should go forward and say, ask a professor that, hey, we want to have a 15 minutes demonstration. Can we get started, and can we have a demo to you? So have a practice with him, and trust me, you would really add a lot of value points that you can incorporate to your project to enhance the presentation of it. Also, during Smart India hackathons, you would have industry professional mentors who would be at the centers. So feel free to juggle with them, ask a lot of questions, get into their ideas or point of view to your problem statement, what you can incorporate, and look forward to incorporate them. If not, if that's something that takes time. At least to mention it in your PPT so that it adds a lot of value uh, to the mentor, maybe to the jury members as well. And for your information, for this Smart India Hackathon, I have also applied for the mentor. So maybe I would see you at some of the other center. So let's see.
Cool,
Let's hope for the
cool,
best.
cool. So audience, can I ask you, right?
For sure.
Cool. So for the first year students, is there, like we talked about how to learn, like what to learn and from where to learn? Is there anything like how to decide what to learn? And the second question is where to learn? Any resources for the
Well,
first year students?
that's a subject question, but um, what to learn? Well, based on the problem statement that you chose or you're interested in, choose a particular tech stack. Now, how do you choose a particular tech stack? Based on the problem statement that you chose, try to identify how do you want to execute it or what is your exact idea that you want to execute. Look onto various sites, Google it out. Look onto Copilot. What are the different tech stacks that are required? Maybe choose some of the prominent tech stacks among the suggestions to help you get started with the solution. Now, if you are someone who is the team lead, ideally you should work upon the most prominent solution so that you are able to inspire the others. Don't choose something that's irrelevant to your idea. So that would actually help you get started with a particular technology and choose only one technology for yourself. Just try to understand it like this: you would have a 6 people team and 6 people having different tech stacks. Now you just having one tech stack would be sufficient and would suffice the need. So that's my suggestion. And once you have identified what tech stack to learn, what technology to ramp up, um, try identifying various sources of learning it. And I mean, I would say when you think about learning, uh, think about how you can practically implement it. Try to make some dummy projects. Try to build some maybe the prototype and showcase it to your internal team. Showcase it to your professors and ask them for feedback. It really does not mean if the professor to whom you are demonstrating is your guide or not. You can reach out to as many people as possible. Important thing over here is to take feedbacks, and this will actually strengthen up your profile, your project, as well as the if you have someone to guide you, it's always improves the time that is required to build the entire project, because there's someone who will constantly nag you that, hey, sort of build around this feature that asked you, and what is the timeline for you. So you will at the back end have to work it, get it implemented, and get back to your professor that, hey professor, this is something that I implemented, can you just review it, and so on and so forth. So that's one part of it. Talking about resources, so there are W3 schools, there are multiple YouTube channels that I cannot state on over here, but there are multiple resources that you can look forward. There's never scarcity of the resources. Even if you have scarcity of resources, maybe for a very limited tech stack, there are always documentations to help you. So, and sooner you understand the tech stack, get in touch with people who are actually working it. How do you identify them? Get on LinkedIn, identify people with similar posts on that particular tech stack, and I ask them how do you get started. Even that is also a better way to get a roadmap on a particular technology.
Cool. So next is the most interesting thing. We would like to know your journey, like your winning journey. What problem you worked on? What was the solution? And you may have faced a lot of challenges. How did you overcome and made yourself a winner?
Well,
Yeah.
I never imagined that our team would be the winner. Let me start off like this. So, the Smart India Hackathon, when it was announced in my college, and I was in my first year, I just joined the college maybe 3 or 4 months back. And we were asked to participate for the internal hackathon. I was a part of the coding community, and as a part of the coding community, we were supposed to participate in the hackathon for sure. Really struggled identifying a team. That's where I tried reaching out to multiple people. Finally, I was very fortunate enough to get imbibed or get injected into a team that I had kind of proposed, or maybe um, a team that I personally pitched into, that hey, I want to join your team. So based on my pitch, they kind of imbibed me, but I didn't really have any tech stack at that point of time. I just said that hey, this is something that I can learn quickly, and trust me, I would be able to contribute well. So and the team that I joined in were all of, I mean, maybe third year and second year people folks at that point of time. So I was the only first year person. Now imagine, um, that actually pushed me as well, because I was among people who were actually very nuanced on technology, and I was someone who did not knew about those languages, the fundamental languages as well. So that kind of pushed me to get started. When those discussions happened, they had a lot of weekly discussions onto brainstorming the idea. So I kind of found myself really set back, because I wasn't able to contribute much on the technical side, while I was able to give ideas, but I really was not able to put forward insights onto the feasibility of the solution. So that kind of pushed me again to check back onto the Google or the internet and look for different solutions, work on tech stacks. That got started me with the internal hackathon. So during the internal hackathon, I mean, it's a long story, but I'll say it like this: it was challenging for me to get started in a 24 hours hackathon in a physical platform. And it was the first experience. I really did not have an idea of what they would do by keeping me at the college auditorium for 24 hours. We were not supposed to get to the hostel. So that was a very, I mean, vague experience for me. But overall, we woke it the entire night. We worked entire night, and we were able to build up a MVP that was not complete, but at least we were able to highlight the key, the functionalities of the solution. The presentation went well. There was a lot of questions, since the jury members was too invested on our project, and that gave us the ticket to the Smart India Hackathon. Now, during the Smart India Hackathon, we put forward our proposal. So once the internal hackathon happens, there are 6 teams that gets qualified, and then you put forward a proposal to the Smart India Hackathon. That does not really guarantee, if you have cleared this internal hackathon, that you will also get into the Smart India Hackathon. Your proposal matters. So that's where we really took time, 2 days in stretch, to prepare our proposal. We really made it very lucrative, and to the point what is required. Now that proposal, over the period of time, maybe 1 or 2 months, got selected, and we received a confirmation. That's where we also started again executing the project that we were already working upon. That project was something that we were already working upon, and we started boosting up the process of execution. So it took around, and it was a deep research based project. So it took around 6 months for us to build the entire project. And there was a professor who was guiding us. I was really fortunate enough for that professor to give us time on weekends, to give us time whenever we asked for. And I mean, I cannot be more thankful to him than ever. So that was someone, and imagine that sort of a role that he had played. So having a guide, having a professor is really important. Trust me. So that was a phase of the development, and I won't go into the deeper of it, because we had a lot of bad situations during that. The financial crisis in getting the hardware procurements, the pitch patch that we had, the bad conversations that we had, all those things went on. But now came the time of Smart India Hackathon. I mean, that was in May or June. Well, during the Smart India Hackathon, it was 36-hour hackathon, and we were participating under the Bureau of Police Research and Development. The problem statement was on women's safety and elderly safety devices. So we had built I mean, project that was more on a research-based project. So a machine learning model being incorporating into your mobile. So you can run a machine learning model into your mobile device, and that was very new at that point of time. Now you have those frameworks called as TensorFlow Lite by Google, and there are multiple frameworks that you can use to run machine learning models on low edge devices. So we had kind of collected our own data set. We had trained a custom model, and that point of time, that feature was something that was available with Apple Watch only. So we cannot afford for an Apple Watch at that point of time being a college student. So yeah, that's something that we implemented on phone. So that was kind of very normal. Having it on a watch and having it on a phone is very different, because a phone is something that is accessible to everyone, while a watch might not be. An Apple Watch specifically, an 18,000, 17,000 Apple Watch might not be affordable for all, right? So that was the novelty. We built on the solution, and there were a lot of critics that we received during the entire process. But each of them were taken in a positive manner, and we kind of built on, and finally we emerged to what we are.
Cool. So maybe know the idea and kind of the solution. Like, what was the problem, by the way? What's the problem? I would like to know.
Okay, so maybe I'll put it like this. So the problem that we figured out was that okay, in Asian countries, specifically in the southern Asian countries, or maybe in, globally worldwide, there are a lot of threats to women as well as elderly people. Especially in US, in European countries as well, elderly people are left behind. Okay, and in contrast to that, we could cover the entire globe altogether. So in the European and in the Western countries, you have elderly people who are left behind at their own stake when they grow old. Now, according to some research, there was nearly 17% of the entire death across the world caused due to, I mean, lack of treatments or lack of emergency response to those elderly people being at a risk. Okay, so imagine someone has just faced a danger situation or a sudden fall, and there's no one to help him, no one to take him to the hospital. That's where we developed a application that can trigger an automatic SOS based on different dynamics, like motion detection, fall detection specifically. Fall detection was something, as already repeated, this was in Apple Watch, something that was not affordable for all, specifically in southern Asian countries, or maybe Asia altogether. While there were also situations of a lot of situations of women harassment, you can just go down the recent situation that has happened. So
Yeah.
very unfortunate enough, but there were situations like this. So based on the screams, based on the based on your audio that you speak out, okay, based on the motions that you perform, your smartphone can detect those. And if you call out danger, danger, or if you call out maybe uh, help me in your local languages as well, in Indian languages, in other local languages as well. The smartphone application can track it and trigger an SOS at real time. That was one part of the functionality. The other was on the motion detection. So based on your motion, if you have a certain fall, if you have a certain sprint, it kind of detects if that scenario is something that is really a dangerous scenario. If yes, then it will trigger an SOS to the nearby police or to the guardians. So that was a solution, pretty straightforward, but something that was really required. And quite fortunate enough that the Euro Police Research kind of found it really helpful for them. There were a lot of add-ons that we did post the Smart India hackathons, and this is a solution that is currently available with the BPRD.
Oh, awesome. So good to hear the awesome solution. So talking about after the Smart India Hackathon. So what happens after the Smart India Hackathon? This what happens to the solution? How many of them get converted into startups or get used by those organizations?
Okay. So, and this is an insider talk. So, and this is publicly available, so I can talk about it. But okay. So, post the Smart India Hackathon, there are two steps. First, there is a international Singapore hackathon that happens. So there are certain countries, including Asian countries, African countries, and as well as the Southern American countries that participate together in a hackathon. That's an international level hackathon, and only people who are participating in the Smart India hackathon are eligible to participate there. So that is one step above the Smart India hackathon, wherein you can get a chance to participate at an international level hackathon. That's number one. Second, the Ministry of Human Research, the Resource and Development has really put on a lot of effort to also put or convert these MVP solutions prototypes into a startup. So they kind of provide those fundings. There are a lot of solutions even after 4 years of participating in the hackathon. I still receive a lot of invites from the Ministry of Human Research and Development to incubate the projects into a startup. They kind of fund them. There are a lot of entities that also partners with the central government to fund you. There are mentors who can guide you, and trust me, when you get those kind of and if you're someone who's really looking forward for a startup or building something of yourself, I think Smart India Hackathon is a very good place for you. It's not just about the hackathon and then it ends. No, it's just the beginning, and there is a long journey after that.
Awesome. So coming to the questions from the audience, we took some questions from the audience. So one of them has asked like हमारा प्रोजेक्ट हार्डवेयर बेस्ड है तो इंटरनल हैकेथॉन के लिए पूरा बनाना पॉसिबल नहीं है तो इतने कम टाइम में ये पॉसिबल कैसे करें मतलब है ही नहीं पॉसिबल वो.
I just missed your question. Just a minute. Can you just repeat your question, please?
Yeah, sure. One of our audience
Just
has
a minute.
asked
Yeah.
our audience has asked that their प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट कि उनका जो उन्होंने ना हार्डवेयर बेस्ड प्रोजेक्ट है उनका और इंटरनल हैकेथॉन तक बनाना पॉसिबल नहीं है. मतलब
Okay.
उन्होंने पूछा कि इंटरनल हैकेथॉन के लिए पूरा बनाना पड़ेगा पर वो इतने कम टाइम में पॉसिबल नहीं है तो क्या करें.
I think I answered it in brief. Let me put it again. So, you don't really need to build the entire project as a part of the internal hackathon. There have been scenarios wherein people or team have not presented the entire solution in the Smart India hackathon when they are in a finale stage as well. That happens. That's very natural. Having the entire solution in build gives a additional confidence to the jury members that yes, this team has implemented it. But if not, you can also possess a lot of answers for why did you not build the entire solution. Especially when you talk about the internal hackathon phase, you can tell that hey, there was a scarcity of time, and and there was also a lot of constraints on the procurement of the hardware. If it's a hardware-based solution, there was constraints on the team to implement those solutions in time, or learning a particular technology. So those are something that you can put it forward. You can put on the constraints very transparently, and the jury members does understand your concerns. So you really don't need to build the entire solution, but as already said, maybe highlight or build on the major functionality. The add-ons can be something that you can do or incorporate at a later point.
So one last question from my side, then we will take questions from audience from comments. The last question is what are the key factors you should consider when dividing responsibilities inside the team members.
Okay. uh, okay, so just imagine, I understand you guys have this is something that comes up for every team members, and every team that has to face these issues. How do you navigate this? Well, ideally, I prefer to have it like this. I'm someone who loves to handle on the responsibilities as well. Accountability is something that I take. So, as a team lead, I kind of take those accountabilities of managing the entire team together, while the individual stakeholders or the individual team members are given accountabilities for their own tech stack. They are supposed to ensure the functionality that they are working upon, or the particular part of the solution that they are working upon, they should make it integrable, as well as fully functional at their own part. So as a team member, maybe implementing on the technical side is something that I emphasize. as a team member, team lead, rather I would emphasize, not only since I'm a team lead, I'm also a team member. I have to definitely technically contribute to the project. It cannot be that I sit and I just order on that, hey, you implement this, and hey, you not like that. So I have to implement my own solution. Plus, add on, I have to also ensure that the entire team is engaged. Sorry. So if you want to delegate the task, maybe you can take it like this. Um, so the team lead or the main person is someone who should ensure that the entire team is working and facilitating all the energy around the team. There should be one person, maybe at max, who should work behind, or maybe who should be the person who could take up your responsibilities when you are not available. There might be times that you are not available, or maybe there could be an emergency situation as well. Who does take the lead in that scenario? So there should be also a team lead too, and the rest of the team members should be ideally the individual contributors. Wherein, I mean, I personally don't find that helpful. Wherein every team members kind of have a mixed responsibility. In that scenario, I don't see it working very well. Maybe it works, or it might not work for your scenario. So you can just try it out yourself. But I personally find that having a team lead one and team lead two, and again, there is no concept of hierarchy over here. It's just about delegating your work to others. So ensure that the work is spread uniformly across different people, and as a team lead, you have additional responsibilities of managing the entire team.
Cool. So one question is coming from Ishika. Like, please tell us about some ideas in hackathon we did before, but we in some advanced level. I don't know what she's asking. Did you understand the question?
Okay, so I did get the gist of it. Maybe correct me, Ishik, on this. But I mean, this is very specific question, right? What is the idea or what is the problem that you're trying to solve? I can suggest ideas on that. But just to take it like this, what I get as a second part of the question is that I built it in a simple way, or something that I had built as a prototype, but I want to take it advanced. Maybe I want to add on functionalities, or I want to add on features. So in that scenario, again, I'll put forward the same framework of brainstorming. Once you have built a prototype, now you want to expand. Again, you have to brainstorm. Think divergent. What are the additional things that you can add? And when you talk about adding new functionalities, it cannot be just vague things. It does not really matters if you add on vague things. You should add features of functionality that should be relevant to your user, or should be relevant to the problem statement or the problem that you're solving, right? So if you have maybe built an application, maybe an additional functionality would be ensuring that the application is also accessible to people with disabilities. Maybe adding a feature that can call out the texts that are written for people who are blind, or people for people who are deaf, um, people who do not have a limb. Maybe they can also speak out, and they can I mean, you can have a text or maybe audio to text conversion or something like that. But people who are deaf, how do you enable them? So people, ensuring that there is enough of visualization for people to see and get the gist of the idea. That's something that you can implement on your application side. So this is a long conversation. We can take it as long as forward. But just to give you an idea, think divergent when you're trying to advance your solution. And the next step, when you have already you have a couple of ideas, evaluate whether this is something that is really relatable to my project. Yeah.
So second question is, my team members are from web development domain. So is it hard to get shortlisted on web development project, or we need to incorporate some AIML?
Okay, so good question. I'll tell you like this. No, not really. See, every project does need a web development domain as well. Uh, Imagine I built a machine learning model, or I built an AI model, LM model, but I really don't have. I have exported that model into an .h5 file, or maybe some sort of a format. But the end user, how do I present it to the end user? The end user won't be able to use the model unless and until it has a GUI, unless and until it has an interface, mobile application, a web application, and so on and so forth. So I mean, every tech stack is required for sure. What I would suggest is that, since if you are someone who has a web domain, try identifying team members who have different other tech stacks, maybe AI, ML, blockchain. It depends totally on what problem statement are you trying to solve, or um, what is the problem that you're trying to solve. What is your approach to it, and what is the application that you, or what is the solution that you want to build on?
And can you tell some problem statement which have highest probability of getting selected? Wow.
Okay, so there's no direct answer to this. I would answer it like this, and I really also emphasize on this. Meanwhile, when I was answering one of the question, try to choose a more harder problem statement, because people have a lesser tendency to choose a harder problem statement. So you would likely have more possibilities of getting selected. You choose something that is lighter, something that is easy to implement. Maybe a lot of people would have a similar mindset, so they would have also applied the competition over there becomes difficult. But again, while you're choosing a hard problem statement, do ensure that you have an idea for it as well. Just don't go by the problem statement and propose something very vague. That will also not make sense. I've seen scenarios wherein if there is very less application, or if there is no appropriate application, they also kind of reject the entire problem statement. Also, they kind of I mean dilute the entire problem statement as well. So that could be also a scenario. So be mindful while you're applying, and I would suggest it like this: when you're giving a proposal, think it like this, that if the solution is really needed, if this solution is something that would add value to the society, or the targeted users that you are trying to build a solution for.
Cool. So tell me about how know about hackathon and workshop held. No, what she is asking about.
Okay, so as I'll tell it, I already spoke about the hackathon phase. I really don't understand what workshop are you talking about, but maybe I'll take it like this. So during the Smart India Hackathon as well, there are a lot of workshops that has happened. Okay, that happens usually. So wherein um, there are also sessions to these are usually short sessions, 30 minutes or 45-minute session. Either it could be an interactive based session wherein some guest speakers comes into the the center, and you get to speak with them, you get to interact with them. I remember my scenario wherein it was COVID time, so we could not have a offline hackathon, but it was a online center-based hackathon. So that in that scenario, uh, Abhay Jerry, who is the innovation cell head of MHRD Gov, was there at our center. So we had a virtual meeting, and wherein each team member had a chance to ask one question to Abhay Jerry. So that was some key highlight from the workshop. There are also a lot of workshop, 30 minute short-term workshop, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, so on and so forth. So which are on technical enhancement. How should you approach a problem statement? How should you maybe take forward a solution to maybe prototype? But these problem statements might not be very relevant to the hackathon, or maybe these workshops might not be very relevant to the hackathon at that point of time, because one thing that goes onto my mind when I'm participating into a hackathon is to get my solution up and ready. I don't want to hear at that point of time anybody else. So yeah, because you're already in a very crunch of time, and you have to utilize that time very wisely to get your solution ready.
The next question we have is, I don't know what it is. Bot from Python. Do you know anything about it?
I really don't have. Sorry, Ishika, I don't have an idea on this.
Please elaborate your question and ask clear. I think AIML is what everyone is thinking nowadays. So, can you suggest any other domain compatible to AIML?
Compatible to AIML? What is the exact question in that scenario? Okay, so maybe I'll talk it generically like this. And I'm not getting a question exactly, but maybe you can put it forward in a more structured way. Um, so See, AI/ML is one of the, I mean, I would say the top buzzwords of right now. But you can think of a solution that's totally apart from AI. You don't really not need that tech stack unless and until it's mandatory required in your solution. Now, think about it like this. You are given a set of resources, and everyone, I mean, you are given maybe you're into a bakery shop, and there are different types of cookies that are available, and everyone chooses one cookie only. Don't you think that? And if you also choose that, don't you think that's just going with the folk, right? Going with the herd. So don't think like that. I would say it like this: if your promise statement requires AML, do learn it up, implement it for sure. If something that is not requirement, there's no jabardasti that you have to do it or you have to incorporate within your solution. So it's totally upon your, idea, the problem that you're solving, and obviously talking about the second part of the question. Other domain compatible to AIML. So get it as like this: what domains can you integrate with AIML? So AIML is one part of the domain, okay, or the tech stack. The, everything can be integrated with it, or maybe other tech stack as well. This just like puzzle and building blocks. You can just combine any building block to get a solution. Give you an example. Uh, Imagine I have an IoT device. I'm continuously getting some census data from that IoT device. Now I use AIML to kind of perform some processing or some inference from that census data. That could be one example. Imagine there's a web interface that is integrated to an AIML, and user kind of provides the data. Based on that data, the AIML model is able to infer something. Okay. AIML could also be integrated to a mobile application. AIML could be integrated with your cloud applications. You can run your cloud applications on either of the cloud platforms. You can run AI machine learning models as well on a cloud platform. So it's either way, it's more for you to think and ideate and get it done. If you have any
Cool.
specific
So,
question on how you want to execute a particular problem, I can help you with that. But this was very generic for me. Okay.
I think Rudranil have replied to a previous question. I was just asking, I have an idea of developing an AI model which helps to treat depression in old age people and lonely people through various applications.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Rutanil would definitely ask you to go forward with this. I mean, that's a great idea. We can have a further discussion on this as well.
So Ishika has further an question. I want to know how can we add a bot to an app by using AI so that any issue can be resolved.
Well, that's good idea. You see a lot of, I mean, almost all applications these days, all websites has a AI bot functionality. So that kind of as an interface for end users who are new to this platform to get started, get their queries resolved, or someone has a support request, so they can also create support requests via the bot. So how do you implement that? That's a good question. So again, there are a lot of see if you try to build a bot from scratch or maybe a machine learning model to train a bot from scratch, that could be a different problem statement altogether. You're not focused on a subsidiary or a sub functionality of your application, right? You don't want to waste much of time. So that is when you should use some of the added, already available features. There are multiple software as a solution bots that are available for you. I'm not sure if it's available for free, but you need to double check on that. Talking about the platforms that I know, so you can use Dialogflow by Google to build your own chatbot. You can use Azure Bot Services to build your own chatbots. There are multiple other services that you can use. So integrating a bot could be a sub functionality, and that really sounds cool to me.
Cool. So he's asking, sir, tell me about your hackathon projects and what technologies are to be used. I think you told already about it.
Well, I'll talk about
Yeah.
my technologies. So I am someone who has a taste of all technologies. I'm a jack of all, but master of none. So, but still, I would suggest. I would. take it like this. Maybe if I have to say about my the key tech stack, it would be machine learning and application development, because that's where I have put on major of my time. Currently, as a professional, obviously cloud is something that I'm working upon. But I mean, as a college student, it was ML and application development. While I have also worked on blockchain, I have also worked on I mean, a lot of automation solutions. I worked upon cloud. I have worked upon a lot of different things. So I have a taste of everything. I've just touched upon everything for my hackathons, and these are again based on the requirement of the hackathon.
Cool. So we are doing the talk from 1 hour. We just completed 1 hour. So that's it from my side. I think okay, we got one more question. I think we can answer
Okay.
it. I have an idea that automates the whole process between doctors and patients, like appointment, reports stored, automatic prescription generation. Can it be a good project idea or it's bad?
See, no project idea is good or bad. Again, I don't want to be very generic, but talking about your specific problem statement, this is a good idea. And this is a problem, but I would say it like this: there are a lot of solutions also that exist within the market. Try identifying what are the pain points that the solutions available in the market are still not being able to incorporate for. That is something that you should work upon majorly, because something that's already available is available. Now try to integrate your functionality or solution, or try to build entirely of yours, incorporating the existing solutions, existing available features, as well as adding on your functionality, which will add the novelty to the project. So try to understand, do a bit of market analysis of what are the existing solutions and what is the drawbacks of those solutions. Why is it not being used? Because if there would be a solution and that could solve the problem, why would you require this problem statement? Why would SIH put forward this problem statement? Yeah. So there's a need, and you need to understand why.
Shika has asked, sir, but one idea was of about fire. Also, that we can make one app where any website can made easily. Audience does not want to use any code for making website. They can directly use about fire.
Yeah, that's really cool. So you can use about fire, you can use power platforms. I'm not sure if you have interface with power platform. There are also multiple no code low code based solutions that you can use. There is webex, I mean, sorry, what is called, so you have those I mean, push and pull based website building solutions that you can use. So that really saves time and energy. So yeah, that's something that you can use.
Sir, is it better to use React Native for developing a college dropout system and integrate web development into it, or do web development grind?
Okay, Somil. So, correct me if I am not getting your question right, but you're saying that do you just need to build a web application, or do you want to integrate it with an mobile application as well? See, always any solution that exists as an enterprise solution in the market, there is a web and there is a mobile version of it as well. If you can build both, nothing better than that. That is something that I personally prefer if you have time with you. If you don't have time, maybe an application or a website would also suffice that need. But if you have time, for sure, use frameworks like Flutter, use frameworks like React Native to build both a mobile app and a web app. Or at least if you are building a web app, make sure that it is also mobile compatible, or you can create a WBA out of it.
Cool. So I think we have taken all the questions.
And I mean, it was really
So,
insightful and a lot of diverse questions. I really loved it.
yeah. So if audience have any more questions, they can ask. Else we will wind up the session. We can wait for 1 minute, or I think we should. So I personally liked a lot of your idea. It's very good. Like practical solution which is needed in mobile phones right now.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. I
Or
mean, yes, these are ideas that are something that I work upon, or there are a lot of hackathons that I have juried on. So a lot of ideas keep flowing. I love sharing ideas with folks, and so feel free to discuss it with me. Not a problem.
sure. People are asking how to connect later. I would surely share your LinkedIn profile
Feel free
in
to
the
connect with
comments.
me on LinkedIn, Instagram. I am super active there. Yeah, that's you can also connect with me on TopMid. So, but I would suggest LinkedIn and Instagram. So, I'm super active there. I could easily answer your questions there. I think we are good on wrapping up.
Ishika came with one more question.
Sure, go ahead.
Sir, my presentation was made of about fire. We did many things in it, but how can I elaborate more? Mean some key points.
Was made of about fire. We added many things in it by talking. So, see, idea behind putting over a presentation is not to, um overburden it with a lot of features that you can talk about. Talk about things that you have implemented. Number one. Second, talk if you have implemented a lot of features. To mention that features that within them. Uh, what is also important is to actually highlight your actually highlight the key aspects of your solution that you're building. What is the key USP that you are trying to build? The major highlight should be on that, and obviously since it's a major USP or the most important thing within your solution, so obviously that should have the major emphasis, and that should be actually the novelty between your project. So but still put forward the features that you have built. If there is sub functionalities, do also emphasize on those. And a good presentation for sure is one which has a distinction between how you present a thing and how you talk about it. So there should be two aspects of it. Your presentation should speak about your project, and you should also speak something that is different, what is not mentioned in your presentation. So have some talking points for yourself. Prepare some notes if you are not very accustomed to talking like me. So prepare your notes, and that would be really helpful for you to present where you are having those demonstrations. And for sure, having those technical prototypes and demonstrations during the final evaluation is very handy. So for sure you should have it.
Uh, how did you validate your project idea during initial stages?
This is a good question. So either there are two ways. Either I can evaluate my project within my internal team, so I could have a sync, and I could test out those functionalities and features within my internal team. Once the internal level of uh, evaluation or the validation has been performed, so what I can do is that I can go ahead and I could reach out to any of the mentors, or I could reach out to any of the seniors. I could reach out to professors and ask them that, hey, why don't you try out the solution that I built? And this is something that we implemented. Can you give some feedbacks on it? So for sure. There are times when we feel that, hey, this professor gives us some feedback, but it's not relevant. Try to understand why he's giving you a particular feedback, and if possible from your end, and if you really find value, do add it to it. Because see, those folks are much more experienced than what we are. Do we tend to be more smarter, but those folks are actually someone who knows the problem statement well and understand those nuances, so he can guide you much better.
Cool. So Sanidhya is asking about Sorex. So Sanidhya, we are basically a community of college students. We do everything with whatever is needed for student empowerment. We help students through event sessions and hackathons. We share job opportunities. We do some DSA problems on our Discord server. So if you are first time engaged, you can check our website. It has the Discord server link also, and also the WhatsApp channel and WhatsApp group links. You can connect with us, connect with folks, and we will surely definitely help you. So I think that's all for today. Thank you, Saurabh, for joining, and thank you
Thank you so much,
for
Ashman.
answering. Thank you for answering all the questions, and and
Thanks so much,
hope.
man, for having me, entire Sorex team, for coordinating and facilitating this entire, seminar or the web session so well. So thank you so much, team, and the audience for your time to understand and having those questions with me.
Yeah, thank you for our patience so that you answered all the questions so well. The audience, we love to hear about your idea, and good luck. Have a nice day to audience and Sarah also. So we will connect soon, and that's it for today.
Definitely.
Bye bye. Have a nice day, everyone.